Hey everybody, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell project to share with you today. Today we're going to be using the Mary Moose stamp set coupled with the buffalo check to create our background, and the Mary Moose punch comes along with that, so that makes the punching of those moose quite easy. And then we've got this fun little raccoon critter that we're going to include there as well. So I made this card for a demo swap recently, and now I'm going to show you how I put it all together. Alright, so let's get started. So first off, we have our card kit. So I'm using Sahara Sand as my card base. I wanted a nice neutral color. We've got Real Red for a background. We're going to be doing a Whisper White with that plaid. I've die cut an oval for our expression out of that layer. So we're going to hide that behind here, right? No reason to use more cardstock than necessary. And then of course we're going to stamp and punch out and color and cut all of our other little trees and our little critter there. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, let's do our stamping of our buffalo check. I'm going to use the Stamparatus to stamp these two layers. Now, part of why I decided to use the Stamparatus was, one, it allows me to put the large background stamp on the plate and I don't have to deal with the big bulky block. Secondly, I was making about a dozen of these, one after the other, and I found that this way I could just set up my grid sheet for my placement, and then I didn't have to guess about keeping my plaid square on my cardstock, which is the way I wanted it. So, like I said, I've applied my stamp to my clear plate. Now I'm just going to ink it up with my stamp pad. Nice and wet. I'm going to do the white one first. So you can see I've got this white space, and I put a little bit of adhesive right there just to help me hold it down, but not so much that I can't pull it back up. Alright, so I flip this over and I give it a good press. Now the nice thing about the Stamparatus is you're not going to be rocking a block, so you can actually give it a good press. Lift it off. We're good there. Alright, and then I'm going to do the same with my red. You can see I've got the larger red, but I can see where that ink went down, so now I can place my red on that grid and know that I'm going to be covered when I flip over my plate again to stamp my red background. So red on red for that one. Alright, so now I'm going to flip this one. Again, I'm going to press. I'm going to lift. Okay, now look, see here? I kind of didn't get as heavy of an inked impression here. Now, true, on this card we're going to hide it, but the nice thing about the Stamparatus is nothing is moved. So we can do it again, press some more, or re-ink it if we really wanted to, and then lift it up again. See, and I got better coverage that time. Alright, so there's the Stamparatus portion. Alright, next I decided I wanted two tones on my plaid. So I got myself a scrap piece of cardstock and I pulled out my soft suede marker. And what I do is I just use my straight edge. I line up my straight edge with the print line there, and then I just run my marker down to give it a stripe. And you could get super fancy. You could use multiple colors. You could crisscross it with different colors. I'm just going to do a simple stripe though. So I just keep pulling my card edge back, lining it up with the printed edge, and lining it. And then I just flip it, and we're going to do the same thing. So now I'm not worrying about perfect placement for spacing, right? Fabric is fabric, and that's what we're emulating here. So no reason to get super technical with placement and distance between those printed checks. Okay, and then I want one more down here, but I didn't have a red line on top, so I'm just going to flip it so that I do have a line. to come down to. So, not difficult, it just takes a steady hand and a little bit of time. Okay, so now I've got my 2 plaid pieces. I can bring in my card base and start assembling a little bit here. So I'm just going to use my snail. First I'm going to apply my red background. So this goes directly onto my Sahara sand. Okay, and then remember this one, I stole the oval out of the middle. This is going to become the backer for this one. So my red and soft suede plaid are going to get mounted up on a layer as well, or framed. And then that piece is also going to get snailed down. Now I'm snailing these layers because I'm going to pop up the trees and the characters. So I don't want my card to get too thick. Alright, so there's the base of the card. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp 2 trees with my garden green. So I'm only using the larger tree. So I'm going to ink up my tree and I stamp it once, and then I stamp it twice. Okay, let it dry a little bit. Then I'm going to take my Stampin' paper snips and I'm going to fussy cut around those. So I've done that to save a little time. So see, I've got 2 trees and I just cut the edge kind of wavy around the outside, following the line of the tree. So now we've got our 2 trees. Now for our little critter. So with Memento, because I'm going to color him with blends, with Memento I'm going to ink up my little raccoon here. Okay. Remember, we want to use Memento with our blends. Now, I'm using light crumb cake, light black, and smoky slate, light smoky slate. So crumb cake is going to be my log. So I just come in here and shade in my log. Now we usually tell you to stamp on white and then color, but the Sahara sand works really well with the blends. It actually, when you color it on there, it's like color on color, but then as it sits, it lightens. So I really like the effect. I've been stamping on the Sahara sand a lot and coloring with my blend. So I'm going to black out his eye, because raccoons have little black masks, and I'm going to stripe his tail. So that's with my light black. And then with my smoky slate, I'm going to color his body, and I'm using the light smoky slate. Just going to give him a shadow of a color for his fur there. You want to be careful to get into those little paws. You can certainly use the fine tip end, but I'm going to trim him out, and I'm not going to be too worried about that. So again, I use my paper snips and I trim him out nice and close to my edge. Alright, so there's that. Now I need my friendly moose. So I'm going to stamp him. First I'm going to stamp the outline with soft suede. Okay, so I'm stamping him with soft suede. And I stamped him kind of the edge so that I could get my fingers on here when I put him in the punch. Then with crumb cake, I'm going to come in and use the full moose stamp, and I'm going to shade his body. So I'm going to make sure I get nice coverage on my stamp, and then I can see through my photopolymer. Put this down, I kind of line up his legs and his antlers and his nose. Give that a good press. Okay, just like that. And then I can come in with my moose punch and punch him right out. So again, just line up your image, and there we go. Okay, so now we've just got to do our little expression. So I'm going to be stamping Enjoy the Stillness of the Season with real red on my cut out oval. I use my layering ovals to do that oval. And I can see through so I can get it on there. Okay, so there's my expression. And then I did edge it. So I'm just going to run it on my ink pad, pressing gently, just kind of creating an outline. Now we can put all this on. So with lots of dimensionals, here we go. All right, first let's do the trees. So I've got 2 trees. And put those on with dimensionals. Okay, then I've got my raccoon right there. Then I'm going to put on my expression. Actually, I'm not going to use pop dots on the expression. Put those on the moose because I'm popping up my moose. So we're just going to snail our oval straight down onto our card. And I do have it offset so that when I put the moose on, they balance each other. Just like that. Okay, good. Alright, so then on the inside, I left this one blank, but on my envelope, I'm going to stamp Have a Cozy Christmas, which is fun, and I think I'm going to stamp that on the inside too. So I'm going to put that here on the card, and then I'm just going to open up my center. I'm going to put that right there as well. So lots of place for you to put a personal note inside. One here, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed today's project. It was fun. I don't do a lot of fussy cutting cards because they take a lot of time, but sometimes it's nice not to use those thinlits and dies all the time. So this one's fun. This stamp set has lots of fun images in it. You've got some, not to mention the moose and the raccoon, but you got some presents. You've got a smaller tree. You can deck that moose out with a scarf, add some stars, ornaments, and we've got 5 different expressions in there. So happiest of holidays. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. The one I used, enjoy the stillness of the season, have a cozy Christmas, and Merry Christmas if you want to be a little bit snarky there. So, alright, so there is our project for today. I hope you enjoyed. Do some fun holiday stamping and join me here again for another show and tell. Remember, the link below to the blog article is in the description. All of the materials I used are there as well, plus you can access the PDF tutorial in my library. So your support is always greatly appreciated. Please let me know if you have any questions, and leave me a comment. Specifically on the blog would be great. And I'd love to hear what you think about this project or just my stamping projects in general. Alright everybody, have a great day, do some fun stamping, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.